So we're walking home from school, and there was this homeless man going through a trash can. And I was like, Mom, what is he doing? What is it? It's like gross and sticky in there. She's like, oh, vende los botes. And I was like, you make money from trash? And she goes, yeah, vende los botes. And she's like, I ran into her closet, got a wire hanger, unhooked it into a long skinny finger, got a bag for food for less from the kitchen, and went through trash cans in the park and went on weekends to quinceañeras, and I collected cans to pay for my first class.
Wow. What's up, Harvey Guillen? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, before we get into your character, which is replaced Daja as my favorite character of the show. Did I say her name right? The character's name is Daja? Daja, okay. She's still my favorite, but you're at least tied now. Before we get to that, the show itself, like, you know, I was a big fan of the short film that came out a few years ago. That's the basis for this series. Like, how does it feel to be on a show that's so cool? You know, on television, a lot of times you get the regular CSIs and the typical kind of like programs that you expect from like television. And here's this fun, colorful, you know, silly show, unpredictable. How do you feel being a part of it?
I mean, it's just a dream come true. You know, the whole idea that I got this role by going to wine and cheese night, you know, and I met someone whose fiance was working on this show, and they said, you should audition for this, you know, show. And I was like, okay. So it all happened, you know, so quickly, and just to be a part of this cast who's super talented and masters at their craft, like it's just so much fun.
Wait, you went to a wine and cheese night? Was it at somebody's house, or was it like at a restaurant or something? Was it a networking event?
Friend Mimi Michaels was in LA from New York, and she just had a newborn baby, and she brought the baby to visit the family here. So it was her brother's house. So it was her and her husband, her baby, and her brother, and Yvonne, a girl I never met before, and that was Mimi's friend. And we just had wine and cheese. We didn't even talk about anything in particular. And the next day I got a text from an unknown number, and it was Yvonne. And she said, hey, I got your number from Mimi. I hope you don't mind. And I think you're super funny. You should audition for my fiance's new show. And that's how I got the audition to go in. But Guillermo was 20 years older than I am. So I was like, well, I think I'm going to be like the wild card if I even get an audition. Got the audition. You know, I wanted to make myself look older. So I got this long sleeve shirt and a brown sweater vest and these Harry Potter glasses. And I parted my hair in the middle and I curled it into like 2 little curls. And I was like, well, if anything, I'll stand out, right, at this character. And I auditioned. And a couple hours later, they said I was going to test. It was unanimously that I was going to test with Kayvon. And then a couple of weeks went by, I never tested. And I got a call on a Sunday on MLK weekend. And it was Tyke and Jermaine. They're like, hey, is this Javi? And I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, it's Tyke and Jermaine. You auditioned for us? I was like, oh yeah, I'm testing. And they're like, no, you're not testing. And I was like, what? And they're like, you got it. We'll see you on set. And I booked it off the audition tape that they had sent to everyone, and never tested with Kayvon. And that was a Sunday. Monday was the holiday. Tuesday was a fitting. And Wednesday I was on set.
And then you're on the phone with Mommy, I made it. Okay, what kind of wine and what kind of cheese were you eating that day? That's really what's like on my mind before we move on to the rest of the questions.
I was drinking white wine. Might have even been a sparkling wine too, she had, and some manchego cheese.
Manchego cheese. Okay, the next point in my life that I come across manchego cheese, I know that my dreams are going to become, you know, a reality.
Yeah, grab it as soon as you see it.
Amazing. So obviously now at the end of last season, we find out that your character, Guillermo de la Cruz, is actually a Van Helsing, a vampire hunter. And I love the scenes where you're killing vampires. It was very, you know, you got the movements down, and you get I love how you apologize sometimes for killing these vampires. So what's going into this season 3? With your character?
Well, we pick up where we left off, but now there's consequences because they know he's, you know, the slayer. And so they basically imprison him in the basement in this poorly made jail cell that Guillermo can break out of. But we pick up there, and now his destiny is in their hands. So they have to decide, do we kill him? But he did save our lives. I mean, he killed all those vampires for his housemates, but they're so self-absorbed they couldn't even see it that way. They're just like, what about us? We're in danger. And it's like, you're not in danger. He protected you. He saved you from them. They were going to kill you. The vampires in that theater were going to execute you. And he stopped them, remember? And they're like, oh, whatever. You want to be our bodyguard? So the idea that they're so like, idiots at some point when it comes to stuff like that, it's kind of fun to play, So Guillermo's going to go along with it for the ride because he doesn't know anyone else. This is his chosen family aside from his, mom at home. He's only known this for 11 years. So yeah, let's see where this goes. So he's up for the journey.
For people that are just joining the show now and are seeing your character in this phase of his evolution, how did Guillermo become part of this vampire family to begin with, and then people watching this can go back and watch the first show?
Well, I gave myself a backstory, right? Like we haven't really kind of jumped into that, but I gave myself my own backstory, which is he was obviously working at Panera Bread, at one point, and I think that there's CCTVs or something that Kayvon says that should show video of like how they met. Maybe he was taking out the trash in the back alley and Kayvon was feasting and flew in and about to, use him as a meal. And then he says, "You're a vampire." And it's like, "Yes, I'm a vampire." And he's like, I've always thought they were fake. And you're real. And it's like, "Yes, make me a vampire." And he's like, "I don't know." It's just like the idea that maybe that's how the dialect started. And then he said, "Well, I do need a familiar." And that's how he got the job. That's my own backstory, which I think would be really cool. But who knows? We're going to see in the future that we might have a flashback with footage, because remember, this is a documentary that shows how they met.
Oh, I like it, man. Wow. So, and is the set like is it a fun set compared to other sets that you've been on, or because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of coordination and movement and special effects and all that stuff. So does it get like really serious and then, okay, now we're going to act funny, or is it always just like fun?
No, I mean, that set, it's incredible. And this year we introduced 2 new large sets. Kate Bunch and Shane Fox are amazing at what they do. The detail of the new Chamber of Curiosities is one of them. We have a fish tank with the mermaid, and it's like there's all these beautiful like things that belong in a museum that we get to walk up to every day on set, and then like try not to touch because it's so beautiful. And like the library scene is like multi-layer floors, and it looks like something out of like some whimsical magic movie. So I love going to work every day. It's just it's like playing make-believe. It's your job, and that's what we do. We play make-believe every day on a set that's beautiful. So we're the luckiest bunch.
Do you work on so it's on a sound stage, or do you guys actually rent a real house?
We do shoot on soundstage for the interior of the house. And the exterior, we have we've shot the exterior 3 different locations. First one was in Pasadena, which is a real looking house. So you see the exterior shots are usually that house. And then we had a house that would look similar that we found in Toronto that we used for season 2. And then unfortunately for season 3, they sold that property. They were going to make something else. So we had to build the exterior from the floor up. Then we're like, you know what? We have to stop looking for exteriors that look like the first house we used. We're just going to replicate it. And we did. So on the soundstage and the outside of the soundstage, by the street, we've built the exterior of the house.
Wait, so you guys showed up to like the exterior of the house you used in the first season, and you're like, knock, knock, knock. And then somebody else came out and they're like, "What are you guys doing here?" We're like, "We're here to shoot season 2 on the exteriors of the house that we shot last year. Who are you people?" We're like, "We're the new tenants. We're the new owners."
No, the second season house was the exterior looked beautiful, and it looked very like old decaying red brick, and it was perfect for the show because the show has that vibe. But the interior we weren't allowed to use because it was like decaying, like there was like dead raccoons inside. Like we're not allowed to use the inside, so we only shoot the exterior stuff from the outside of the house. And when we shoot the interior, we go to the soundstage.
No, I get it, but you said that one of the exteriors were sold, so I can just, I mean, obviously I'm making this up, but I can just imagine, like, can you imagine there wasn't any communication and like you guys show up to shoot more exteriors and it's like, wait a minute, we're like the new owners, get out of here. What are you guys doing here?
Yeah, I think it came to a shock because I think we assumed, it'll be there next season. And I think we went back to be like, okay, we're back. We like to rent for the year. They're like, oh no, that property got sold.
Like, oh gosh.
We're like,
was it like, what? Did you guys not think we were coming back for season 2? Okay, like let us know. What's up? Harvey, have you ever thought about what it would be like to be a vampire?
Yeah, I mean, I had to think about it. I thought about it before doing the show. The idea of like, I think I was watching Interview with the Vampire. It was like, that'd be kind of cool, but I don't know if I would want to be stuck in in that time for the for whatever time period it is, if it's in the earlier days, because let's face it, if you're a person of color, if you're a minority, it probably wasn't the best time to stay in that time frame. So it was like, I'm a vampire now going forward, that'd be cool, but I don't want any of like the craziness in the past. And also, what about if I was a vampire in the past and the inventions that haven't come up yet, like phones or television or all that. So I thought about that a lot as a kid.
Well, yeah, I would consider if it was now, the only thing that gets me is not being able to be around in the daylight. Like, because I mean, I like the sun. I like the nighttime, but I like to go out in the sun. So, if we could, if it wasn't for that one thing, I wouldn't mind the teeth, I'm a vampire every Halloween, by the way.
Oh, you are every Halloween?
Because it's super easy. I just buy the fake fangs at the costume store. You know, the ones that you put on.
Yeah.
And then I just dress like normal.
Easy breezy.
What are you every Halloween? A different thing?
I'm a different thing every Halloween. I haven't really celebrated Halloween the last 3 years because we usually shoot during fall. So this past fall, I think because of the state of the world, really wasn't much celebrating or dressing up in anything. But I do like to go full out. In the past, I've done some epic costumes and won some contests, which is fun. But it's a lot of work. Like going to, if you're gonna do it, I like to commit to it. But if you're gonna do it, it's like I have to go full out. So I know people who plan their Halloween costumes, a year in advance and have it made and all that. That's a little much for me, but I don't know. Maybe I should give it a go so I don't have to worry about it next year.
Yeah, well, listen, it's a month or two away. What are we doing shadows? Maybe I'll go and then maybe I'll put an extra effort aside for the fangs. I'll get like some of these coats and a fake beard because I can't really grow out my beard that way, and I can be or I can completely shave and put on a wig and be Jaja.
Yeah, there you go. Or just wear a sweater, a frumpy sweater and put some glasses and give you Guillermo.
Oh yeah, of course I should play your character. A lot of I believe you were on the Zoo, our talk show a few years ago when before this show. And a lot of our audience loves you. Can you tell us the story of how you began? Because I think it's a great story about you saw Annie the musical and what you tried to put it on in your house for your family or something. Like give me how'd you get into this?
So Annie was playing on TV and I thought it was a new TV show. It was a movie and it was over winter break. And it was me and my mom, single mom, working like several jobs just to keep the roof over our head. And I was watching Annie and I was like, what is this, a new TV show? So I wanted to be in that TV show. And I was like, these kids are dancing and singing. And I remember like looking at it and looking at my mom, like, Mom, I want to be that. I want to be an orphan. And she looked at me weird and she was like, yes, that's loco. And I was like, no, I want to be. He's like, oh, no, son actores, they're actors. And I was like, oh, they're actors? Like, yeah. And I was like, well, I want to be an actor. And she was like, okay, but like, it's like they take classes and blah, blah. And I was like, can I take classes? And it was like, no, we don't have money for that. Rightfully so. She was like struggling just to like keep us afloat. And so I was like, well, I have to find my way to become an actor. And then a fellow thespian at school, she knew that they were doing a community center improv class. And it was like $12.50. And she asked her parents to give her 20. I asked my mom, and she was like, no tenemos dinero para eso. Like, it's like for rich kids, And I was like, what? You got to be rich to play poor on television? Because Annie and the gang are all like in rags. And it's like, you have to take classes like dancing and voice and all that. And I was like, well, if I can find a way, can I do it? And she said, Nico, if you can find your own way, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, really? Okay. So I didn't know how to do that. I was 6 years old. So we're walking home from school and there was this homeless man going through a trash can. And I was like, Mom, what is he doing? What is it? It's like gross and sticky in there. She's like, oh, vende los botes. And I was like, you make money from trash? And she goes, yeah, vende los botes. And she's like, I ran into her closet, got a wire hanger, unhooked it into a long skinny finger, got a bag for food for less from the kitchen, and went through trash cans in the park and went on weekends to quinceañeras, and I collected cans to pay for my first class.
Wow. Dude, I mean, I think it's that at that point, to be so like resilient and have so much perseverance and be willing to do whatever it takes at that young age to achieve a dream. I mean, that's when your destiny was set. I think that our viewers can learn a lesson from that. And it's like, well, once you decide that you're going to do whatever it takes and you actually go forward with it, things start happening for you, even if it doesn't happen immediately down the road, right?
Right. And that's the thing that people always say, and of course the class didn't make me, a professional actor. What it did was it introduced me to that world because it was babysitting. They put the kids from 6 to 9 year olds into one group and from 10 to like 14 into another. They were the advanced group, the advanced improv class. And the younger kids, all we did was walk around and they say, okay, now you're a lion, be a lion. And then we're just walking and I was just making people laugh and I was making all these animal noises. And then it was the first time I felt that crackle. Like, it's just like, after the class was done, it was an hour, like and a half class or something. And I was like, oh no, the class is over. It took me a month to raise the money for this one class. And I was like, do I want to go through that all over again? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so I kept, doing like weird jobs here and there to take classes, take a jazz class, learn how to dance, take a roller skating. Like, it was just like the randomest thing because I thought you needed to be able to do everything if you're going to be on television. And you kind of do. You're going to be able to sing, dance, act. You got to do everything. And so it just, that was a starting point. And it just led up to like doing, school plays. And I didn't really do anything professionally until after high school that was like on TV. And so, but I'm glad I got that training, because even though it was just improv babysitting class, it was a starting point of like what I wanted to do. And I saw the goal at the end of the tunnel.
But you know what, why that story is so important is because, like, as an actor, as a performer, of course, all the classes you took and all the training and all the experience and all the practice and all the performances, all that thing adds up to the talent that you display on shows. But the fact that behind that, you were willing to work to just get the opportunity to train, just to get the opportunity to do these things, that sets you apart in a way that, other people that might have a lot of privilege to just kind of like dabble here and there and not have to work for their opportunities, you're already kind of like a step ahead,
Yeah, I did notice that. Like, it was the difference between my friend asking their parent for the $12.50 and they got a 20, and that's great. And like to have that privilege, but also to be aware of how privileged you are to have that opportunity. And there's someone who's like, I would kill for the $20 bill, and it's just like asking and you shall receive. But sometimes you ask and you don't get it. You have to find your way. So it's like, if you can find your own way, you can make anything happen.
Well, now you're killing people, vampires, on a show. Okay, last thing I want to talk to you about. So you're hosting an after talk show, right? For What We Do in Shadows. What's it called?
It's After the Shadows. So you can watch the episode right after the season premiere. And after every episode during the season, you can join us for a quick recap of the episode. And we're going to have guest stars from the show, from the production team. We have, a set designer. We have producers. We have actors. So you really got to tune in and watch. We did this last season, and we did it because of, the state of the world. So we weren't going to be able to go to cons or visit fans and say hello. So I created this on my Instagram. It was supposed to be like a, just one-time thing for the premiere. And it did so well. People were loving this, behind the scenes information and secrets never told and all of that. So I continued, the whole season. And then now we've partnered up with FX, and they said, why don't we do it for the, for the show and really do it.
So just another example of how you took the initiative to do something on your own, and then it turns out to something big.
You got to do it. You got to do it because I did it for the fans and didn't expect anything from it. And it did so well. And the fans were like, it's coming next season, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't even plan on going past the first episode because I wanted to do something special for the fans. But then they kept wanting more. And I was like, I can't say no. I'll continue to do this if you want me to do it. Yeah.
Harvey, after talking to you this morning, I'm equally motivated, but I'm also equally feeling like I'm just not doing enough in life.
No, don't ever feel. You're always meant to be where you're meant to be in that moment.
Okay. Well, man, listen, thanks for talking to me this morning. It was meant to be Zooming with you. Can't wait to see the rest of season 3. I love how what a major part your character's turning into and all the fun stuff. So talk again soon, and I can't wait to see what's next for you, man.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.